Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Alien Romulus concept artists have been releasing a whole bucket load of work, and some of it is truly incredible. So you would have looked at the thumbnail today and the headline, the sort of title and things. We're going to be looking at the Offspring. So there was radically different ideas for where they were going to go with the Offspring. In fact, Fede Alvarez apparently just encouraged people to go wild. You know, here's like the core idea. Go wild, go nuts, you know, have fun with it. So we're going to be looking at coal prices and also Santiago's designs for the Offspring. They are incredible stuff. Really, really interesting designs. Just as a side note as well, I have an interview, a podcast, like an hour and a half interview with Dane Hallett, who is a concept artist. He actually worked on Alien Covenant. He worked on Alien Romulus. And that's going to be coming out in... well, basically when I can get it edited. But he revealed some really interesting things about the design process and what Fede Alvarez's overall thoughts, you know, were and where they were going to go. It was always, the idea always was to have the Offspring eventually become more Xenomorph-like. So it's just interesting, quite frankly, that the pathway of the pathogen would always end up as the black goo. So we're going to take a look at this today. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And let's dive right into it, I guess. So this was over on Twitter. Cole Price tweeted this out and says, during Alien Romulus, Fede Alvarez encouraged us all to have a go at the hybrid. I don't really do creatures, but had a go in Nomad Sculpt. I know Fede actually loved these. Great fun to do. I really like these. I think these are wicked. Like, these are absolutely wicked. You can see the sort of design language coming through. I mean, it just looks brilliant. It just looks brilliant. It's this sort of translucent-y, pale. You know, the pale obviously comes from the engineer. Human xenomorph, bit neomorphy in there as well. So this is Cole Price. And then you get, again, a bit more. This reminds me a bit of Resident Evil almost. But you can see sort of human elements coming through. But it is a bit Resident Evil-y. But it looks great. A lot less biomechanical than I guess I would have liked. But if they were developing it into a xenomorph at the end, then yeah, I can dig it. I like this one. And I like this one because of, well, one, how it's been modelled, how it's been positioned, especially with the tail. I just think this looks wicked. It looks brilliant. It looks horrifying. You know, it is that sort of sexual horror that you come to expect with the Xenomorph and the Alien franchise. Interesting. Are these digitigrade? I don't know if they're digitigrade legs or not. But again, great design. What do you think of these three designs? Let me know down below. And we'll come to the final design that he released. Again, you know, this looks a bit like Chatterer from Hellraiser, actually. Still incredible stuff. Looks great. It's interesting, you know, and we don't quite know why or what happened with the Offspring as a creature. It was always sort of supposed to be what it was on screen, which is actually a practical effect. Like, it doesn't look like it because it is just so uncanny valley and just so surreal on the proportions. But it was then supposed to become more Xenomorph-like, which they did do because they added the tail in, you know, as it was sort of evolving and moving forwards. But it's just interesting. And you can see people in the comments, they absolutely love it. So good, better than the final outcome, in my opinion. Cheers, mate. To be honest, I like the ones we ended with. I know folks are split, but it was creepy as hell. It was creepy. To be fair, I wasn't keen on it when I saw it opening night, but when I saw it the second time round, I actually really liked it. It was super creepy, and still to this day, can't believe it was an actual actor. Again, I don't think a lot of people can. Yeah, people love it. Intrigued what the thought process was behind the final concept design. Hopefully I've explained some of that. It was always supposed to evolve into more of a alien, basically. It really is a fine balance between human xenomorph. So a tricky task, I'm sure, with lots of iterations. P.S. Really enjoyed the film. I will say this as well. At one point, there was a mandate to give the Offspring some form of wings, like sort of fleshy wings, which is interesting. You know, don't necessarily think I would have liked it, but it's still interesting nonetheless. And we will see those designs, possibly even today, because I know Dane, the concept artist, will be working on some of that, releasing it. And then we had this. So this is from Santiago Vino. And you can see now, I guess this is kind of like midway point between becoming, you know, more xenomorph-esque and less human with the hair. I mean, I think the hair makes it. I think the hair is what makes it like, oof. You know, Jesus, look at that. Less biomechanical. It's really tricky, isn't it, when these things are in white, sort of translucency, is that the biomechanical aspect almost becomes a bit lost in the design. But you can see here, and I think this is a great example of this, is that the proportions were always going to be built for that actor. Kind of, supposedly. What it looks like, anyway. It's great. I mean, it looks awesome. You know what this does remind me of, though? You know, as a design, it's awesome. Whether it would have worked in the film or not is completely, you know, debatable. But what it does remind me of is Dead Space and the Necromorphs. Which, you know what? That's not a bad thing, guys. Being reminded of the Necromorphs is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So it's just fascinating to see where they were going to go with all these designs. Someone else in the comments here said it reminded them of Resident Evil as well. It's just interesting. Also, someone said Chatterer as well. I've just spotted that now. Sorry, yeah, Hellraiser. Interesting stuff. I think they're cool. I think they are interesting. And it does show... Again, it shows that whatever path you take with the pathogen, is it always sort of ends up like a xenomorph. You know, the Deacon, for instance, and progressing onwards from there. Fascinating stuff. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know down below about all of these designs. I will, leave a link to Cole Twitter. So let me know what you think down below. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.